It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and I want to talk about a fantastic question that John Paul Filkins asked me a little while ago. Unfortunately, this probably is a little overdue. I got this question asked while I was on vacation, and I'm just now getting back around to it, and I think it's still important. Hopefully, a lot of you are still holding on to these elemental certificates, but I thought it was a really good question, and considering how well received my Soul Coin shop was, worth discussing this one as well. And it would be fun to talk about all the shops, you know, again, from a high-level player's perspective. So, first of all, the question. John Paul asks, serious question, near the end of Elemental season is the prize of 15 Elemental Tournament certificates. Assuming you are a player with no heroes from the tournament shop, with just a couple of teams in the 80-90 level Facebook web, which hero would you recommend slapping those down on and bringing up in levels to eventually join one of your main teams? So what are we talking about? In the Titan area, you click on the Titan Valley, and then you have the Tournament of the Elements where you compete. You compete every day. You fight with your Titans against other Titan teams from all over the world. It's the Facebook and web's version of the crossover war, which mobile has. And while it's not as robust as that, it is what we have. So, you know, it is what it is. Every week we get judged. And we go into the Hall of Fame and we get some of these Elemental Tournament certificates, but we also got a bunch of those from Elemental Season as part of the reward paths. You go to this merchant here, you click on Certificate Exchange, and then we have these items. All right, we have 7 items here. We have 4 heroes, Nebula, Kark, and Vari Sebastian. We have large skin stone chests. These are the ones with 150. We have 1,000 artifact coins, and then we have chaos core. So John Paul Filkins specifically asks about heroes, but I want to suggest possibly not buying heroes from this vendor. All 4 of these heroes are really, really strong, and Vari and Sebastian was just recently added in the last couple of weeks to be able to be purchased from here. So I'm going to say this, just blanket statement. Sebastian may be the single best hero in all of Hero Wars Facebook and web. I'm not saying that he's my favorite hero. I certainly like bards. I certainly use Sebastian. Kark is my favorite hero. But the best, if not the best, then absolutely the top 3, the best hero in all of Hero Wars on Facebook and web, again, is Sebastian. So if we're talking specifically about which hero to grab, Sebastian is the no-brainer choice. He will absolutely save your team from any debuff. We're talking Jorgens, we're talking Fenrises, we're talking Leons, we're talking Phoboses, Arachnes, we're talking Satori's, you know, any Qing Mao. If you have a physical team, Qing Mao has been the bane of my Kark's existence for forever until I got my Sebastian leveled up, and now Qing Mao's blind doesn't bother Kark at all. Fenris, same situation, doesn't bother Kark at all. It used to be Nebula was the best choice out of this bunch because Nebula is such a high-end support hero. Nebula you can literally plug into every single team and make that team better, position dependent, I should say. And the same can be said for Sebastian. Now, Vari and Kark are a little bit lesser situation. Kark is just a straight-up damage dealer. He's the least valuable of these 4 heroes unless you're building a Kark team. Asterisk. Unless you're building a Kark team, Kark is the least valuable of these 4 heroes. Vari is probably second to last valuable. Vari is a fantastic tank support. You can plug him in the front of your team. You can plug him in and protect a single hero in front of him from other Karks and Kais and Facelesses and Twins. Vari is a fantastic hero. He doesn't provide as much groundbreaking, incredible, fight-swinging support as Sebastian and Nebula do. So, in my opinion, in order, Sebastian, Nebula, and Vari Kark. All right, that's the order of importance for me from the Elemental Tournament shop. And each one of these certificates will award you with 5 Soul Stones for that hero. And if you participate in the Elemental Tournament every single day, every single week, you're guaranteed 2 scrolls per week. So you can get 10 Soul Stones of any of these heroes per week. Now, with all that being said, thank you for the question, John Paul Filkins. It's a great question. You ask specifically about heroes. I think that that's a safe bet. I would need to see the rest of your team for specifics. Vari might be a better fit. Nebula might be a better fit. Sebastian is always going to be a good choice. So I hope that answers your question. But I want you to consider the fact that every month you get 50 free Soul Stones from the daily reward chest. Daily bonus, day 28, contains 50 hero Soul Stones to choose from, except for the following heroes. So Cleaver, Jet, and Alvanor. Alvanor will be in here eventually. So Cleaver, Jet, and Alvanor, Sebastian, Kark, Vari, and Nebula are all in here. And that's 50. That's 50. So if you go back up here again, now, granted, we did just get a bunch of, whoops, wrong place. Granted, we did just get a bunch of these tournament certificates, so it's a nice big, a big grab amount of, heroes at once. But you can get these heroes elsewhere, right? And even, at the very minimum, obviously at the very minimum, you might not be at the very minimum, but at the very minimum, you can get, 40 of these soul stones each month, 2 per week, 10 per week, 10 soul stones per week, and then that ends up being, 4 weeks a month on average is 40 soul stones. I would recommend buying large skin stone chests and artifact coins instead. I know that's kind of less fun. It's less glamorous. It seems less exciting, but in the long run, there will be more ways to get Nebula, Karkin, Vari, and Sebastian Soulstones than there will be to get the sheer volume of skin stones and artifact coins that you're going to need. This game, don't forget, is a game of resource management. And you get to choose your scarcity. You get to choose which of the resources that you're going to be having to chase longer. So if I could go back and do it all over, and this speaks to an individual regret of mine, if I could go back and do this all over again, I probably would have not invested as much as I did into Nebula. I definitely wanted to get Kark. Kark was a love of mine from the get-go. I should have invested, instead of all of those scrolls that I invested in Nebula, I should have invested those into skin stones or artifact coins. Now, that being said, most of my top 10, top 12, top 15 heroes now have maxed out Absolute Star artifacts now. So I chose artifacts as my least scarce resource. Now skin stones are my more scarce resource. So now I'm chasing skin stones in order to max out my, my top teams, my top, 25 heroes. But I have all of these other heroes at Absolute Star. I've been playing for a couple of years, sure. And I'm just saying you're going to get there eventually with all of these. So if you're specifically talking about heroes, I answered your question, but I think that skin stones or artifact coins are potentially a better choice. And Chaos Cores, you need Chaos Cores to evolve your artifact weapons as well, but I always seem to have a million of these, even though I have I have 15 or so heroes at Absolute Star weapons across the board, Absolute Star artifacts across the board. So if you need these, then obviously, buy a couple of these here and there, but you can get these elsewhere also. So I hope that answers your question, John Paul. A little bit of extra added on there for, for good measure. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.